Hello, this is Father Louis Skirty back with Friends of the Word, interviewing my nonagenarian cousin, Carmela Skirty, 91 years old, and
90 years old, don't lie.
90 years old. I added the one. And I've known her since I was born, and she's known me since I was born. So, the year I lived there in West Berlin, New Jersey, was a wonderful year, and I made nice connections. I was teaching at Cathedral Academy in Camden, and Cathedral Academy, yes, and it was a great time. And now we look back and we remember some of the stories about going to and from school from your home. Mm-hmm. Do you remember some of them?
Yeah. Each morning was an event in itself, quite frankly. Getting the children off to grammar school, to high school, Louis off to work. Was the car working? Was it raining? Who forgot their lunch? I forgot to do my homework. Does it sound familiar, people? Absolutely. But you know, that was life. That was almost an everyday affair. And my favorite saying always was, "This too shall pass. This too shall pass." And I had to say it every day, you know. But and it was like a wonderful year. Sometimes, Lou, you would give my children some of the work that you had in high school, and they were only in grammar school, and they did very well, especially Susan. She was quite a bright young lady, and she still is, you know.
What is Susan doing now?
Oh, Susan has her own cookie business, and Crazy Susan's Cookies. And how did she get that name? She's Crazy Susan. From the day she was born to this very moment, she has a heart as big as the moon, and she has a heart of gold. She really does. She makes the best cookies ever. She really does. God bless her.
Crazy Susan's Cookies. Go online and Google them, and you'll go down South Jersey and purchase them. Well, you can buy them online too.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But there are so many things that happen. Like every day it was.
Remember the trips Linda, your firstborn, and I would take into Camden in my black car?
And it broke down, and it was freezing, and my poor daughter nearly froze to death. She was late for work.
Almost every day.
Almost every day of the week. The kids were missing the bus. I don't know what happened. Suddenly things weren't running too smoothly. Because I can remember one morning, Jamie, he was the slowest one of the kids, bless his heart. He got there eventually. And I had my hair in curlers and my nightgown. And Jamie, you're going to be late. Get out the door. Get the bus. You had left for work. All the kids left. He ran out. I looked out, and there's Jamie. He slid on the ice, slid underneath the bus.
Oh, my.
So me, like an old fishwife, was out there screaming, "Don't move the bus. My kid's under the bus." And there I was in my thin nightgown, my feet in the ice and snow. I honestly don't know how I survived my kid's childhood. But it was just something that happened. And I'm sure every mother goes through it, every screaming, did you do your homework? Do you have your lunch? Blah, 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 so forth and so on.
I used to love when, the girls, with the oldest ones, Phyllis and Linda, would go on their dates. They were late high school and graduate. And when they came home at night, do you remember what you used to do?
When my kids...
When the girls came home from their dates.
Yeah, they used to come into my room, and I kind of always waited, you know. And that was the thing they did. They came in, they would just tell me about it. My husband wasn't probably too happy, but they would come in and just talk about their dates, and it was kind of a thing that we did, and it was a good thing. But one of the funny things when Linda...
It must be really good.
I know. Linda's young gentleman came to the house. And Linda was wearing she had borrowed a pair of shoes. And whose shoes were they, Linda?
Linda is sitting here alongside as our entertainment. Go ahead. She doesn't remember.
Said, "Oh, they're not your shoes, Linda. They belong to Barbara." Or to Phyllis's shoes, like she would tell little thing to embarrass, and she's trying to act like a real nice lady. And my kids are saying, "Oh, they're not your shoes." It kind of spoiled her date for her, you know. I don't think the guy ever come back.
That was the beginning.
It was just so funny.
But I can remember, again, we talked about Linda freezing in the car, going to Camden each day. And then one time in the spring, we finally decided to wash the car. It was an old, I don't even know what year it was, big black car. Remember that?
Oh, do I remember? Of course I do.
Do you remember what we discovered when we were washing the car in and out? There was a little door that was open, and it said, "Close for winter heat." Oh, so we had it the opposite way.
She froze to death. She froze to death. She did.
And very graphically, she froze to death.
Oh yes. Oh my.
Okay, so we have Susan, and we haven't mentioned Phyllis. Like, the kitchenette event was. I mean, there were many events, but the kitchen event is one.
Oh my God.
Jamie. Jamie was.
Remember the time you were going to photograph Phyllis, and she had her hair in rollers, and she was in her old nightgown, and she ran back in her bedroom, remember? And she hid in the closet. And we were trying to get, and you had the camera trained on the closet, and the kids are trying to open the closet, and the closet opened both sides. She was in there for about 5 minutes, and when she came out the other side, the rollers were out of her hair, and she was dressed. She got dressed in the closet. So, it was crazy. Why do we do all those things? Oh, my God.
Why not?
Yeah. Oh, my God. That was so...
And I took sculpture classes at Temple University, remember?
Oh, the sculpture. When my sons... they saw a woman in the nude for the first time. I thought, oh, they're being so nice. They're in the basement and they're playing. Well, I just happened to go down there one day, and this sculpt of a nude woman, and here they're holding up the cloth and looking at this sculpted nude woman. I can't repeat what they were saying, but it was their first experience. That was funny.
And brought from North Jersey.
All from North Jersey. You did some beautiful sculpting, though. You really did, Father.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. What are some of the Sunday memories? I remember going to Aunt Angie's. Okay, Angie was their grandmother, again, my great aunt, on Sundays around that little table on Pine Street.
And every Sunday she had dinner for us, and her pot of meatballs were like the loaves and the fishes. Mm-hmm. They never ran out. And it was a very simple affair that you came in. We just had something to eat. Like, we couldn't all eat together. There were so many of us, But it was a nice little family gathering. Then we would sit outside, by the house, and they sat in their chairs and just talked. It was just a beautiful family Sunday gathering, that I really miss now. I really do.
Their grandfather, my cousin's grandfather, we called him Uncle Dominic. Uncle Dominic was the brother of my grandfather, Constantino, who lived in Jersey City. And they didn't see each other very often. I think we saw each other far more than they did.
Yeah, I remember when a neighbor of theirs offered to take them to Jersey City, and you might think they were traveling to Italy. I mean, they had food enough for a week in the car. They had never been that far from home. Right. And I believe they went to his sister's home first.
Yes.
The sister.
Carmela?
Carmel, her name was his sister, baby sister, and then to your dad. And it was like a reunion like no other. Yeah. It was so beautiful. It really was beautiful. The brothers saw it. And what did they do? They just slapped each other and smiled. And they were just just happy to be together. Yeah, like
I don't know how that happened. That one brother went to North Jersey, Jersey City, and the other brother went to Constantino went to Jersey City, and Dominic went to the Philadelphia, South Jersey area. I never found out.
Philadelphia. That's where he met Mom Angelina.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Caparelli was married to Pop's brother in Italy. His sister was married, so Angelina and this woman were friends, and that's how Poppy met Angelina. Yeah, uh-huh. So the Caparellis and the Skirties are like first cousins.
And doing my family genealogy, I came to realize that they originated in Chieti, Pescara, a section of Abruzzo in Italy, and they had another brother in Italy when they were both here. And I think the brother in Italy was twin.
Brother was an identical twin to Constantino. Mm-hmm. Isn't that something?
And I think Dominic was writing to him.
He was. As a matter of fact, he was writing to his niece also. I'll never forget that. He was writing, and he said at the end of his letter, he wrote, Arrivederci Roma. And then he put 30 X's, 30 kisses. And the strange thing about that 30 in journalism means the end. Because after he wrote the last X, the pen went off the paper and he died. He said, Arrivederci Roma, if I could spend one day with you, in Italy. That was so beautiful. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather could not write. I remember doing the things he needed, whether it was a check or a sign. But Dominic.
Dominic did. He wrote like in Italian. They wrote in Italian, but just Mm-hmm. And somewhere in my archives, I have that letter. Yeah, my sister-in-law Phyllis wants it, but I have to go through. I mean, we've had so many people come in, moving in, moving out, moving in. I mean, they're just so, dear Lord, so much, yeah.
You've been a magnet for your children and your grandchildren and your nieces and nephews in so many ways through the years. I mean, I joined the group, in the 60s, but you've been doing this since then.
Like, I know, like, in my heart, I sometimes with my friends, they've all went to college, they've done all, and I kind of thought, God, they're smarter than I'm. But this was my education. This was my life. This is what I loved. I can remember as a very young child that I talked and played with every baby on the way home from school. And I had 7 siblings, and I was the second oldest child of 7 siblings. And like they were mine, my mother and dad always had to work to try to feed these little faces. But my dad didn't get a job till like 1942 during the war. When he was called to the Philadelphia Naval Base, that was his first job. So I helped raise my brothers and sisters, and I love housework. I love changing things around. People think like I'm crazy, but and to this day I'm 90 years old and I can still clean my own house. I still move furniture. I do the gardening. It's what I love,
And it keeps you active.
Me happy, and I think that's why I live to the age of 90. Either that, or I have some things to atone for, and you're making me stay here till I atone for them, dear Lord.
We win out if you do.
Huh?
The longer you stay here, the more we're winning.
But I love my life. I like who I am. Was my life easy? No way. I cared for my husband for 45 years. At the age of 43, he had just gotten a beautiful promotion at his job. He had a devastating stroke. And of course, it changed our lives forever. From like being wife, I became nurse, And 2 years later, he had a second stroke. And of course, the children had to deal with it. I didn't realize just how bad it affected them because as Johnny got older, he said, I remember being upstairs, Mommy, and them taking him away. on the stretcher, and he remembered that, and it really affected him deeply, But Jim never complained. He was, in spite of all his illnesses, and all of them, he had a heart attack. He broke his ribs. He broke his hip. He had 2 strokes. He had a heart attack. He was the most pleasant person on the face of the, and I think that's how, I was able to deal with so much. And it wasn't like because of me, it was because of him. He was so appreciative, he was so in love with this family of his. They could do no wrong. My boys, to this day, if they speak of their father, the tears roll down their face. And they laugh about it. But then again, my husband allowed them to do what they wanted to do. There was absolutely no discipline in his place. Like I was the bad guy, and Because one day Jamie said to me, "Ma, we were afraid of you." I said, "You're lucky I didn't kill you," But it was all part. I grew up in a big family, so I was used to babies. I was used to keeping things in order. That's the only way, you survive keeping things in order. And it followed me through to now. Now that I'm 90, I have lost almost all of my friends. My dear, dear friends, my lifelong friends have passed before me. And of course, my husband. And in the last 7 years, we've lost 9 family members. Key members of the family, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, my niece, my sister, my brothers, my brothers, my husband's brother, my brothers-in-law, the key members of our family. And it's been sad, but we all pulled together, and I think the reason I survived this emotionally is, believe it or not, never had an argument, never had a fight with any of my siblings. Henry and I may have gotten into it because I was the oldest. I had to take care of him when he came to 14 years old. He didn't want to be taken care of, so we got into a fist fight. But that was all. But other than that, I love my brothers and sisters, and many years ago we made a pact that we've never argued, and no in-laws ever going to come to break us up. I said, we have to remember that. And there were some incidents where a couple of the in-laws didn't like each other, how it is in families, but we just let it pass. That was their problem, not ours, meaning my siblings. So, I can't say that I wish I had. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I look back and I thought, there's nothing I would change. Yeah, I wish they could have lived longer. That's what I would have changed, but it's his.
When I came to live with you guys, I found you being far more spiritual, embarrassed to say, than I was. I mean, you had statues of Mary and baby Jesus and Sacred Heart all over the house. You have a great devotion to Jesus and the Holy Family.
I feel I don't pray as I should, but he's always there. When he wake up in the morning, I said, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I love you, save souls. And I try to praise him. But I don't sit down and pick up the Bible. And I've got to admit to you, my sisters kept me spiritually grounded. Yes, I mean, she absolutely was a saint. Terry. Well, am I a saint? Mm-mm. Would I want to be? Mm-hmm. but I'm not a saint. But I believe that everything happens and there's a purpose for everything that happens in my life. As I say, this too shall pass, and it does. It always does. If I get down, I turn my music on. I love music. We had music, and my dad was a musician. He belonged to the world's largest accordion orchestra. Yeah. They played in operas and theaters. So every Sunday, while my mother was cooking, the wafting of the delicious meals and they were practicing like in the living room, and there was always music, and it was so beautiful. And Nick played the piano, and he would play, and I would sing, and he would say, I remember saying, now, no plurals. You didn't go, shh. He would tell me what not to do, how to do it. But I love, and to this day, I love music. And sometimes if I get lonely, I do get lonely that my sister's died, that I can't pick up the telephone and say, Rosalie, what are you doing? And every morning she gave me this dissertation. Well, I just woke up and I'm having my coffee with a half of a bun. I put a load of clothes, the same thing every morning. And oh, dear God, how I miss that. And there's like, the kids have, all my children are grandparents now, and these children are so involved. I don't get to see my great-grandchildren, and number 15's on the way. I am so fortunate. 15 great-grandchildren.
And not long ago, Linda put you on Facebook FaceTiming one of your grandchildren.
Oh, that was the youngest little one. His name is Santino. We call him Sonny. Oh my God, he's the fattest, the sweetest little. He is so adorable. God love him, but they all are. Oh my God, they are. Thank you, God.
So you've embraced the 21st century technology. You've embraced 21st century technology. You use the iPhone, you use telephone, you FaceTime.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not too happy about all that. I feel like we've lost something really personal in our lives. And as a matter of fact, this past Sunday, Father gave a beautiful homily on that, that everyone is so involved with the telephones and the iPhones. And I had just been telling myself, I'm on this cell phone more than I'm praying. And like that was like an answer. That was a confirmation of my thoughts. And that's how the dear Lord speaks to me, Good. And that's a fact. But I miss the company that I once had. I'm used to, like, 11 of us that grew up in a household, 11, and we had 5 children together, and you moved in with 6 kids, 8 of us, but there was always something going on. And that's when we started our family dinners about 42 years ago, Michael, we started the family Easter and what Easter meant to us. We had the 7 fish at Christmas Eve, and it was always at our home. And just a year ago, our son John bought a great big house with a big pool, and he decided all the parties would be at his house. And I think that's why I'm so lonely, because I have nothing to plan for anymore.
But you still get all your Easter.
We still get together at Johnny's house, yeah.
And you get all your Easter baskets together.
I make an Easter basket for each of the children. Nothing spectacular, but it's just I kind of look forward to it more than they do, And it's just a nice little tradition and something the kids do remember. Because I did it for my grandchildren till they were young adults, but then I used to put them in those little bags. But they look forward to it, as big as they were. Where's mine, then? Where's mine,
This has been Father Louis Scurti with my dear, loving cousin Carmela Scurti, reminiscing on 90 years of love and life and family and God. We'll continue in a few moments with another section of the interview as we wind down, thanking Carmela and thanking you for joining us. Let me hear from you. FatherLouScurti@hotmail.com.